Daily Bible Time, Dominic Steele. Tuesday morning, 22nd March, men meeting the challenges on this Saturday. And just a shout out, if you're a guy, we would love you to be part of this Christian ministry this Saturday morning. It's for Christian men right across Sydney, New South Wales. In fact, it's coming out of a live stream hub. Liam, Danny and I are going to be anchoring it. The speakers are Gary Miller, Joe Wilshire, David Jensen. There's going to be panel discussion. It's going to be super helpful in terms of pursuing holiness as a Christian man and pursuing truth. Now, Daily Bible Time and Isaiah chapter 6. For men meeting the challenge, register at villagechurch.sydney/community. Now, Isaiah 6, we started to look yesterday at this passage. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a high and lofty throne, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. That was our introduction, the year that King Uzziah died. A vision of God. The prophet Isaiah is looking. He sees this vision of the Almighty. In verse 2, seraphim were standing above him. They had 6 wings. With two of them they covered their faces. With 2 they covered their feet. With 2 they flew. And one called to the other, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. His glory fills the whole earth. The Lord is served by seraphim. The word seraphim literally means burning ones. So these are personal spiritual beings, for they have faces, feet, and hands. And as Young says, they speak human speech and they understand moral concepts. They understand holiness and they use human words, holy, holy, holy. They stand waiting to do the will of God. It seems their thing is to continually praise God. Verse 3, one called to another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. His glory fills the whole earth. Now, holy, 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 the commentator Peterson says, that's a super superlative. God is utterly and completely holy. Now, in fact, David Peterson notes Isaiah has been called the prophet of holiness, in that 26 times in the book of Isaiah, God is called the Holy One of Israel, compared to 6 in the whole of the rest of the Old Testament. Now, verse 4, the foundations of the doorways shook at the sound of their voices, the voices of the seraphim, and the temple was filled with smoke. Now, Alec Mocha comments that shaking is the customary reaction of the earth to the divine presence, and smoke is associated with the presence of God. And so we would just say terrifying, this vision before the Almighty. And terrifying because there are profound moral implications. Verse 5, prophet Isaiah speaking, then I said, woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of armies. Now, I so relate with the prophet Isaiah here. God's character is pure, and yet I am polluted. Woe is me. I am a man of unclean lips. God must judge all evil. God is just and righteous. God must remove all evil from his presence. Woe is me. Peterson says Isaiah is meaning calamity has fallen or is about to fall on the prophet Isaiah. I'm lost, I'm ruined, I'm destroyed. I can't continue to exist knowing my character, my lips, my personality, the corruption of my innermost being, and having seen the holiness that I have just seen. The seraphs praise God with pure lips, but Isaiah knows that his lips are not pure. He cannot join them in that pure praise. His lips, representing his entire personality, as Peterson notes, are contaminated by sin. And he confesses that he dwells in the midst of a people with unclean lips. I'm relating with Isaiah. He knows himself to be no different to the rest of Israel. I'm ruined. We're ruined, for God is holy. That's the vision. How can this unholy prophet and an unholy people continue to exist, given the holiness of God? Let's explore verse 6. 1. The seraphim flew to me, and in his hand was a glowing coal that he'd taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, now this has touched your lips. Your iniquity is removed. Your sin is atoned for. Now, I'm following Peterson here, who notes that unlike the early kings, who normally exclude and destroy rebels, the Lord here takes the initiative for reconciliation with his enemy. The Lord provides a way of atonement to restore relationships. How that works? Well, that's our topic for tomorrow's Daily Bible Time. I do hope you can be with us as we go deeper into what's going on with Isaiah chapter 6, verse 6 and verse 7. Now that this has touched your lips, your iniquity is removed and your sin is atoned for. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow morning, and do go and register at villagechurch.sydney/community for Men Meeting the Challenge. God bless.